Congratulations, Scotland, you have made it to your second European Championships in a row. You haven't done that too many times in your past, but we'll be getting into that in a little bit in this video. But yes, Spain, Norway, the result has gone your way today, and after the VAR controversy and then the loss against Spain after what looked like an incredible goal from McTominay out in Seville, it's taken a couple of days, but it's now mathematically impossible for Norway to catch Scotland, meaning that Scotland and the Tartan Army will be in Germany next summer. We need to give a special shout out to obviously Steve Clarke, the coaching staff, John Carver, all the people behind the scenes, but also like the players, John McGinn, Scott McTominay. Why do these players seem to find an extra gear when they're playing for Scotland? Not just them, Robertson, Tierney, Hickey, players that have been in and around this squad for a couple of years now that are really making the difference and making Scotland genuinely one of the most feared teams. Like, a lot of teams won't want to play Scotland now, particularly the way they've been playing. It seemed like a really hard team to play against. The Spain game, particularly at Hampden, people like Grant Hanley, Lyndon Dykes, really physical, getting in the faces of the Spaniards and making it really tough for them. Scotland really deserves this after what has been a pretty poor, like, I guess 15 years prior to sort of Steve Clarke taking over. All the way throughout my childhood, Scotland weren't very good. I'm English, obviously. I've always wanted England to win. I moved up to Scotland in early 2020, so during the midst of COVID and stuff, and I've just gotten to love Scottish football so much. And whenever anything good happens with Scottish football that the rest of the world sees, it makes me really proud. Like Postecoglou currently doing so well at Spurs, top of the league and 2 Manager of the Month awards in a row. I met Postecoglou once or twice. I'm not sure that he'd remember meeting me, but I remember meeting him a few times, and it was really special. And then to see him doing so well in England makes me really proud. To see Rangers getting to the Europa League final and all the plaudits that came their way throughout Europe and the rest of the world. Again, really proud for someone like me who's moved to Scotland. Then you see these great stories, and couldn't be more proud of the Scottish national team and what they've gone on to achieve in the last few years. They were unlucky not to get to the World Cup, I think, but yeah, they'll be at yet another Euros, and this is how they got there. So Scotland started off their qualification campaign with a 3-0 win at home to Cyprus. Little did we know then what an incredible journey it would be until now. It was a little bit of a boring game. I was there. We were at all three of the home games that Scotland have played so far on the channel. An absolute honour to be there and see how Scotland have been playing so far. An early John McGinn goal started things off before a Scott McTominay brace. But fair play to them, they got the job done, got up the road, 3 points, started it off well, avoided any slip-ups, and then they looked forward to Spain. A few controversies with Spain that day, but I just remember it being an absolute classic. I remember Flower of Scotland being incredible. I remember the atmosphere just being unbelievable. And Scott McTominay, it was around this time that he started off his performances that maybe made us think that he was going to go on and win the Ballon d'Or. In that game, they only had 25% possession, amazingly, but what a result. Probably the best result Scotland have had at Hampden since around James McFadden's era. So yeah, what an honour to be there for that one as well. Then it was time to scalp the best striker in the world, wasn't it? They conceded against Erling Haaland midway through the second half, a penalty on the 61st minute. Then they took Erling Haaland off Norway in the 84th minute. 87th minute, Lyndon Dykes scores, and then Kenny McLean. I mean, 2 goals in the last 3 minutes of normal time. Just absolutely sensational, and it just shows how far this Scotland team have come, that they don't give up in times like that. 1-0 down away to Norway. Could have been a potentially tricky game and a key point of qualification. They'd already come off the back of 2 wins at home. To go there, tricky away tie, to be behind against one of the teams with one of the best strikers in the world, and to then come back so late as well, absolutely sensational. Then it was the turn of, God, there's been some really weird games in this qualification run, hasn't there? Then it was Scotland v Georgia in a 2-0 win, which sounds kind of routine and not weird at all until you factor in what happened with the weather. I mean, the fact the game was on was testament to the ground staff. Fair play to him for getting it ready, but I do think that after McGregor's goal in the 6th minute, I think it was by the time they'd restarted the game in the 7th minute, I think the game should have been almost finished by then. So I think we were all stood around and sat around for at least an hour and a half, just waiting for the game to come on. It was mad. We didn't know if it was going to come on. There was rumours that they were going to have to play it the next day in, I think it was St Mirren Smizer Stadium. But yeah, an absolute mad one against Georgia, and another 3 points, and it was just Scotland just going on an absolute run. Another Scott McTominay goal. I mean, how has he done it? So many players seem to play so well, and they play up for Scotland. It is amazing to see. And then Cyprus away. We've seen a Scottish team go to Cyprus recently, thinking that they should have won on paper, and so we know how easy it is to slip up in these kind of games. But again, the main man, Ballon d'Or contender, Scott McTominay, opened the scoring in the 6th minute, and Scotland were 3-0 up inside 30 minutes. John McGinn as well. We can't overlook John McGinn. He is one of Scotland's all-time top scorers now, after his incredible form over the last few years. There's been some amazing games, and to win their first 5 games, I know they lost out in Spain in this international break, but to have won their first 5 games, I mean, absolutely insane what Steve Clarke has been able to achieve. Now, let me quickly show you this. In terms of World Cup qualifying, Scotland haven't played in a World Cup since 1998, but they had qualified for quite a lot of them prior to that. They went to 5 in a row, 90, 86, 82, 78, 74, and they were at 2 World Cups in the 50s as well, but they never got past the group stages, and they've obviously not qualified for a World Cup for a long time. But we're talking about the Euros. They've just qualified for the Euros. Let's have a look at how many times they've actually qualified for the European Championships. I can't believe it, and I'm sure I must have spoke about this before. I would have done when they last qualified in the last Euros, but they only have been to 3 European Championships. This one coming up in Germany will be their 4th, and they've only ever qualified for 2 in a row once. That was in 1992 and 1996. That was their first one they ever played in, was 1992. Then they played in one in 1996. That was Euro 96. That was obviously held in England. And then they didn't qualify for 5 editions of the tournament, and then they got to the COVID one, which obviously played in 2020. They'll be at 2024, and they should hopefully be at 2028 because of the whole it being hosted in the UK and Ireland thing. But they haven't really been at too many European Championships. But this is what I find amazing. Think of all the legendary Scottish players from down the years, from Kenny Dalglish and Graham Souness to Dennis Law, Jinky Johnston, Slim Jim Baxter, all the legendary names that you'll hear when you talk to your grandparents or parents about their heroes from the past. Scotland have never got out of the group stages of any major tournament. That's all the World Cups I just showed you, and the 3 Euros, soon to be 4 Euros. Out of all the past tournaments they've ever been in, they have never got out of the group stage. And if Steve Clarke, becoming a legend already, some may say he is, I'm not too sure, but if he really wants to cement himself in the minds of the people of Scotland as one of the greatest managers that the national team has ever had, he needs to get this team out of the groups and into the knockout stages. They've never done it before, and I hope that they can do it in Germany in 2024. Again, I am English, as you'll all know, the regular viewers will know, and as you can hear from my voice, I do live in Scotland, and I would love to see Scotland do well. It means so much to me, as I'm sure it means so much to you. I've met so many amazing people from the north to the south to the east to the west who support big teams, small teams, and just to see the whole country come together for the Euros is gonna be insane. Hopefully I'll be out in Germany covering a lot of the games, but yeah, congratulations Scotland and all the great people that I know up here. Please do let me know in the comments what you think. How will Scotland do? Obviously, it's a while yet until we know the groups. I think the group stage draw will be 2nd of December. That is when the Euro 2024 group stage draw will take place. And that's at about 6 p.m, maybe 5 p.m. our time. So yeah, 2nd of December is when we're going to find out who Scotland will be facing in the Euros. Guys, let me know if you're excited. Get your comments in. Congratulations, Scotland. I couldn't be happier for you all. Yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing. I've just uploaded like 2 videos in a day, so I'm absolutely knackered. I've got more to come. Please do subscribe if you aren't already. Thank you very much, and goodbye.